Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the peachy princess herself, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Just past Halloween.
Yes, it is episode 119 on November 2nd. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's get right into it. Tuesday, November 3rd, Mercury stations direct.
Election day, no excuses.
Friday, November 6th, Mercury squares Saturn.
3 of 3 and done.
And Monday, November 9th, Venus opposing Mars.
Sexual healing.
And the talisman times that Sandy has finished up to gather successfully in group activity, to take a bow and increase my responsibility, and to pay off all outstanding debt. Then a very special talisman upcoming to receive fame and glory. On the horizon, we have many, many things for you all, so stay tuned in that section. You won't want to miss these announcements. And in our house, Sandy is going to share about her latest confrontations with Saturn. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions. And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so you finally know you control where you go. Hello, peachy princess.
Is it because of my real false eyelashes? And my extra makeup?
Yes.
And my crown. Oh, that was it.
Mm-hmm. So we actually just wrapped our monthly now forecasting with you and Susan, and we decided, since it was happening on Halloween, we were going to make this a Halloween costume, I guess, festivity.
Right. Susan she wants to wear that witch costume. And it's just the day that she can. So she's like, let's dress up. I'm like, oh, really? And so once I decide to do something, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. So I check out, you have to go to that Facebook page.
Yeah, it's actually live now. So if anyone's interested in learning a little bit about November's dates, which I'm sure you are because you listen to our podcast anyway, head over to Intention Beads Facebook page. And there you're going to see one of our latest videos. And that's Sandy and Susan in their witchy and princessy glory. And I actually am in my pink lady glory. So you'll see me towards the end of the video.
Yeah, I had to be a princess. That's my go-to.
It's a good one. I think that is a good go-to. So let's go direct to you all. Thank you so much for your emails, for your feedback. As I always say, this is our sustenance. This is what keeps us going. So, of course, keep it coming. So we have Diana, who rated her feedback 5 stars, and it is about her first reading. She says, please extend my gratitude for such an incredible first reading. Apologies for my overexcited ego. Sandy is indeed gifted, and there is so much to learn from her. I very much enjoyed my reading and look forward to many more in the near future.
Thanks, Diana. I had enjoyed the time with you. I'm looking forward to more too.
Yes. And so make sure to give us your reviews. We want to see those on Apple Podcasts. We also want you to share with your friends and your family if you really do find this content and what we talk about interesting and helpful. So that's what I want from you. Share at least once. And then you'll find out it's way easier. Your friends want to listen, and then you're going to share more. So in the transits, we have Tuesday, November 3rd, Mercury stations direct. Finally.
Oh my gosh, this happens at 11:50 a.m. on Election Day. And if you haven't voted yet, you must get clear today. You have no excuse. Mercury is no longer retrograde. So you have to get out there. But he doesn't come out of his shadow for another 2.5 weeks. And so that means out of the shade, out of the kind of the dark, unseen area. But right now he's beginning to make connections where you're able to put like 2 + 2 is connecting to make 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you're understanding that. So if you haven't been out to vote, today's
the
your
time.
day. Today's your day. And today is your last day.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And it's funny because I feel like everyone's normally procrastinating all the way to this day. It's because of, the lockdowns and the quarantines and this new normal that we're talking about, is that everyone decided to vote early. So if you voted early, high five and get to the polls today in the US, of course. So Friday, November 6th, we have Mercury square Saturn.
So this happens at 3:12 a.m. and it's 3 of 3 and done. That means this is the last pass of these two planets in their aspect of square.
Mm-hmm.
Not an easy aspect. Saturn wants to stop, anything that Mercury wants to say. So it's time to lease. Not release, but time to lease. So it's just last Sunday that we had the first, Sunday the 1st was the second pass. So this just happened really fast. So the second pass was Sunday on the 1st. Then he went into his stationing direct on the 3rd. And now he's back to this square. So he kind of was in the square this entire 6 days. And it makes you feel like you're in this tight, constricted straitjacket. And
what I was imagining is like biting your tongue, but maybe like being forced to bite your tongue.
Yeah, where somebody else bit your tongue. Ooh. But it's almost like the straitjacket's on your head because it's Mercury, which is mental. Your thoughts, your ideas, your communication. So that's what I would call a turban, right? Having a really tight headdress or a crown like I've been wearing
Yeah,
today.
but something that is detrimental to the thinking, to the communication.
Yeah, pressure. And it's like, are you itching? Is your head itching? Are you itching to get something going?
A headache.
A headache, like pressure trapped. It could come out through headaches. And actually, I've been having a headache, which I never do. But I'll talk more about that in our house when we talk about Saturn. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I know why I have this head. But it could be from this. My turban's too tight. Is yours? Yeah.
And Monday, November 9th, we have Venus opposing Mars.
Right. So the only 2 transits that we had this week, right, are the 3rd and the 6th. It's a light
week. Yeah.
Well, and they're big ones, though, because the Mercury is now moving forward, like coming out of this hidden messages and then butts right away 3 days later up to Saturn, where Saturn's looking at it going, I wouldn't say anything if I were you. Right?
Okay.
And that's where you get that headache turban, like, oh, I'm trying to bite my tongue and it's hurting.
I wonder if that's going to have anything to do with the election.
Well, it sure will. It sure will. But then, boom, we're going to show a little preview on Monday because this happens at 10:08 a.m. I don't want you to miss it if you're not listening to this till after noon on Monday. And it is the Venus in opposition to Mars. This is this sexual dance of the masculine, feminine that occurs, at least once a year. And I called it sexual healing because Venus is in her sign of Libra, where she wants balance and fairness and connection. And she's opposing Mars, who's in Aries, but retrograde. So they're both in their domiciles. So they're both strong. But Venus rules out here. She wins, but barely, like because Mars is retrograde. So, like I said, each planet is in their own sign that they rule, yet Mars is still retrograde, so he's not as strong. And so what are you attracted to? Has this been what you are itching for? And, sexual healing, if we could cue the music, Marvin Gaye would be saying, it will relieve your mind. So this is a day for opposition of the thing, Mars, the things you desire, and Venus, the things you want to connect to. Do they link? So this is a really good day for
and to create the connection.
That masculine and feminine energy that come together and fit like a puzzle piece.
Yes.
Or not.
Right. So, and even in the November forecast that we just recorded that's on Facebook, there was a comment saying, oh my gosh, that's my birthday. So I guess I'm hearing birthday sex.
or not birthday sex.
No, not birthday sex for sure. Tuesday. Oh, no, actually, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done with that week. My gosh, that went so fast. Okay, so moving on to talisman times. You have finished up 3 talismans. The first we'll discuss was made October 26th to gather successfully in group activity.
I understand this message. In fact, I feel it. We all get along extremely well. The current members welcome the new ones.
I love, love, love this even more than last week. Do you know why? Because we watched the I Am Woman movie.
Yeah.
That's on Netflix. So if you guys have Netflix, I'm assuming you do. It's a really good one about Helen Reddy.
I know all her songs and her music, but her name, blank.
And her face.
Blank.
It's so interesting. But I had heard this music before and I really like it. And the end scene where there's this really big women's march, you just feel it. And it really mirrors well with this.
Oh, it really does.
Intention bracelet, because it is about creating community and having those, especially when we need to create community, we need to start forgetting the reasons that make us different. Well, I guess not giving so much to the reasons that make us different, but giving way more importance and power to the reasons why we're similar.
Yeah, the commonality.
Right. Because a woman's march, you're going to, attune to your fellow women and sing Helen Reddy's song, I Am Woman. Hear me roar.
Yeah. So this talisman is to gather successfully in group activity. Yeah. And the current members welcome the new ones. That's why you're saying that, because it's like you feel the age difference.
Yeah.
The socioeconomic difference. You feel the size difference, the race difference, the everything difference, but they all have a common denominator.
Yeah. And really, it's not always, about being a woman. It's about identifying as a woman or just the ideal of respecting women.
Well, we saw that there were men in the audience.
Yeah. And I love that.
And I love that. Yeah.
So the next talisman time that you finished up was Saturday, October 31st, to take a bow and increase my responsibility. I actually saw that someone commented on an Instagram and was like, I think I want this one.
I take advantage of the opportunity to make myself known in my chosen field. This comes natural for me. In other words, this is the moon in her exaltation of Taurus in a trine to Jupiter, and Jupiter's moving forward and really moving away from that station of where Jupiter's been retrograde for 4 months. The moon is in the 2nd house, applying to this trine of the 11th house of Jupiter. So it says, in my chosen field, I take advantage of all opportunities to make myself known. I take a bow and increase my responsibility. This comes natural for me. In other words, I already own this. What is the fear around stepping into this? This helps you release that fear and moving forward.
And that is it's crucial to becoming an entrepreneur or to becoming the leader of that domain. You know, you need to really release those feelings of doubt and uncertainty and unworthiness.
And by taking a bow, that helps in the recognition by saying thank you. You know, you're welcome. I appreciate your comments, and taking a bow and knowing that you're giving to those that are receiving.
Yes.
So you can keep that receive and give, right?
And well, moving on to the next one, because I also like this one too. Sunday, November 1st, to pay off all outstanding debt.
I am excited to take care of any and all debt that have accumulated over the years. This is the time I've been waiting for. I wipe clear all owed ledgers.
All owed ledgers. This sounds so ancient.
Well, I have been reading some ancient text.
So, I mean, how nice and what a relief to have, to be like cash flow positive, you know, or to be in that instance of not owing and not indebted to anyone.
Yeah, Jupiter's in the second house with Saturn. So this has a quality to me of getting money, you know, gaining money, and then moving it through. So it's like getting the abundance of money and then putting it where you need to, that takes down that debt, that you're actually saving money if you're paying off a credit card, or there's no interest if you're paying off a loan. You're lowering your interest rate or period of time. So it works, it like by paying it off, you're actually saving money, right?
Yeah.
It's that kind of pay off and invest all at the same time.
So true. And your upcoming talisman is Saturday, November 7th, to receive fame and glory. I'm interested to hear this one.
I accelerate my advancement and radiate my charisma out into the world. I get help from others. So, you know, I try to get this 11th lunar mansion when the moon goes into this area of the sky from 8.5 of Leo to 20 degrees of Leo. So in between that time, there's what's called the lunar mansion. It's the 11th one that is about favors and glory and fame and charisma and to be known in the world. And so anytime I can get the moon in Leo on the ascendant or the midheaven and have that moon aspect a benefic, boom, that's a talisman time for me. And here the moon is aspecting Venus in her own sign, and at least far out enough away from the Mars. Okay. And actually it's in a trine to Mars. So, to receive fame and glory.
Yeah.
That's the only one I have upcoming.
Okay. So then moving on to the horizon, we have kind of a jam-packed horizon right now. So bear with us. We have a lot to share with you. So first is our pre-order for the 2021 Astrological Pocket Planners. If you haven't already had a pocket planner, what it is, it's maybe 4 inches by 6 inches, and it's a little planner with all the dates in there and all the astrological aspects. There we go.
It fits in your purse.
Yeah.
And I don't know about your pocket.
Your laptop bag, I think they just say pocket. So
I think they meant pocket book.
Yes. So these are really nice, especially if you are taking into account and either writing down or adding to your calendar these dates that we talk about. It's a really wonderful use of your astrological monitoring, where you're like, oh, this is going to be a really interesting day. I'm going to write this down beforehand. And then when you're going into your planner, you can be like, wow, that actually was a very interesting day. It wasn't necessarily exactly how I expected, but looking back, my goodness, it was incredibly interesting.
And now's the time to plan for 2020. What else are you going to do? You really want 2020 over. These are $10.
And it even includes the end of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right on time if you're getting these. So we should be receiving those soon, and we will get those shipments out to you ASAP.
So we're taking pre-orders is what
Yes.
you're saying. Yeah, I saw that.
So click that link. Of course, you can sign up. We'd love to have you. Then November 9th, we have our virtual trunk show. This is
Big.
our second.
Yeah. Big.
And this is one of our favorite events because it's taking our show virtually on the road, because the past many years that we've been doing this, we've been able to
come to you
physically. And here, this is our best attempt at showing our talismans directly to you. So, and I know there's just so much to unpack here. That's why I'm like delayed on what to talk about first. First, you need at least one raffle ticket to join. And those raffle tickets are $10. You can have as many raffle tickets as you possibly want. This is the coolest part about it, because once the virtual trunk show is over, those raffle tickets, say you bought 10 raffle tickets at $100, you get a $100 gift certificate. I send it to you. You can use it on all of the website, whatever you want to order on that website: talismans, orbit necklaces, gifts, chakra bracelets, whatever you're looking for. That's what I'm so excited about, because not only do you get the raffle ticket is good. We will draw during the virtual trunk show a winner for a talisman bracelet, that intention bracelet of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really excited about this. Again, it is our second, and these are really popular because once you pop on, we do take a little bit more of the personal questions. Hey, I'm going through this. Hey, I really feel like I need to focus on this. And Sandy will help direct you to the perfect talisman. She's going to be, like you right in front of me. She's going to be showing you all the different talismans that she finds to be
my favorites. Yeah. The ones that need to be on someone's arm, being the wearer of these talismans.
Soon.
Yeah. Like, why
Like
are
now.
they in my drawer? Right? Like,
Right.
Let's get them moving.
That's so true. It's like, their energy is just waiting.
They're just pumping over there. The blood is just going, get me. I'll help you. I'll help you.
Yes. So, and another cool thing too is if you buy a raffle ticket, you do not have to be present in order to win this bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be drawing one name and one name only. So, of course, get your raffle tickets in. Next, we have November 11th. This is a CWS webinar. And of course, it's going to be being recorded November 11th live. So if you want to be there, we invite you to sign up now so I can send you all those live links. The stationing direct, this is Mercury, Mars, and Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
This is like what I described it as is, any planet that's moving retrograde is kind of like rethinking, re-evolving, going backwards to rework some things.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's stationing direct, it's basically like
preparing the new.
Houston countdown, T-5, where you're like 10, 9, 8. It's the blast off platform. So it's, we've done all the retrograde. We all we've done the rethinking, we've done the redoing. Now it's about the blast off, about putting the pedal to the metal and going forward now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a really interesting time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything to add?
Well, this all happens in November, all 3 of these. And of course, we know that Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year. So that's a very personal planet. That's the beginning of November. Mars, which rarely goes retrograde, is ready to station mid-November. And then Neptune, which retrogrades every year, is retrograding at the end of November. So it just is this really interesting month of how are we moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it's $20. Come along for the ride because you need to get on the bus. We're moving forward.
Right? Yes. And if you do want to make this personal, there's 2 ways to do that. If you add $5, there's a little option when you're checking out. You can add your personal chart where Sandy will take your birth information and email you a picture of what your chart is so that during the webinar, you can follow along to figure out where this is actually happening personally for you.
Yeah, I do a bi-wheel.
Mm-hmm. And then the other option to make it personal is talking to Sandy and Susan directly. So once we close up the webinar, you can get back on in a private video chat with you and Sandy and Susan together to discuss your specific chart. If there's something that you're really ruminating about, if you have questions, if you feel like this is a really integral time for you to progress and move forward, I think one of those readings would be really important for you. Let's move on. We have November 13th through the 15th, the Quintessence Virtual Retreat. This is a retreat that we were invited to help host. It's a bunch of spiritual entrepreneurs that are coming together to share their message, and not really like sales pitch, but it's more of like what and why they do what they do. So we welcome you on the journey with us. That link is in the description. And if you do have any questions about these events, please email me info@intentionbeads.com. And again, I always give you my old email, but you can go alex@intentionbeads.com as well. Moving on, November 18th, and I told you we have a packed November. So join us in all of these, especially this one, the community check-in, because this is a free event where we give you the stage. We let you talk about what it is that you want to talk about.
And bring your Mercury retrograde stories.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Bring your Mars retrograde stories to the platform.
Because, I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, this is a great, we forgot completely October.
We did.
I was
sorry, community.
And somebody said, when are you doing the community check-in again? I'm like, community check-in. You mean the monthly check-in? Like, she's like, no. Like, oh, the community check-in. Oh my God, that just went off my radar. Probably because I was in Cincinnati.
Right. Yeah.
But so we're back on it. And it's always a Wednesday night. It's at 5:30 Central Time. It's on Zoom. But what do you have to do though? You have to say you want to come? No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just once you go to Facebook and you RSVP for the event, then I send you a private link, because this isn't like our, November forecast where we just blast out this information to everyone. Yeah. This is more personal, because we're talking about, it's a closed group on Zoom where we're there to share openly and honestly, but also to listen. And not necessarily, talk about it. This is a sacred community that we're creating. So please join us. And November 27th, this is the first announcement that we are having, again, our Black Friday sale. So make sure that you have this on your calendar. And if you aren't signed up for our email list, make sure to click that link in the description, because you want to sign up to be the first to know when this is happening. I mean, spoiler alert, it's happening on Black Friday. But I'll actually be giving and sending out some like reminders, pre-sale announcements of what's going to be on sale so that you can pre-shop the website so you know what you want.
Yeah, last year people were putting things in their baskets.
In their carts? Yes, they did.
Carts, not baskets.
Same. Then I'm just going to lastly mention that December 9th, we have another webinar happening. That's the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. This is about growth and manifestation. So it's a lot of that dance between Jupiter and Saturn that we talk about. Moving
into Aquarius for a whole new
age.
200 and something years.
So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Don't forget to mention about the December dates that we're going to be doing on Saturday, November 28th.
Oh, yes. So our forecast that's happening, tell me those dates again.
Saturday, November 28th.
November 28th. So
after our Black Friday.
Yes, right after our Black Friday sale, we are going to be having our December astrology forecast.
Yeah.
That's going to be on Facebook Live, and the link is in the description again. So
again, link.
And of course, if you are totally having trouble or you have questions, email me.
And you know who you are.
Alex@intentionbeads.com. I'm not scary. I'm not frightening. I feel like I do a good job on those email responses. So insert the applause here. Okay. So that's all for On the Horizon. Let's move into our house. Welcome in.
Hello. I've been here. I haven't left.
So
interesting what I've been doing.
So interesting. So basically, I'm going to give a little bit of background here because I feel like you're going to take the stage and run with it once I stop talking. So you've been in a class that has been really delving into astrological timing, which is basically what you do. You're an electional astrologer. So you help people pick times that will astrologically benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
So the teacher has been having you really experiment and also go into areas and look at different perspectives that you don't normally.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them was an exercise to really call upon a planet that you don't normally pay much attention to, which is understandable, but it's understandable that yours is Saturn because you're so free-flowing, you're so creative that you're much more in the growth and the vision aspect than really getting down to the like details and grit and, being the disciplinarian of the
curmudgeon.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about how this all happened and what happened afterwards.
It's a really interesting worldwide group. It's a very small group of us that are going through the ancient writings of Picatrix, of Agrippa. These are things that were written in the 1500s and earlier than that. And so reading translations in it's like Old English, right? Because it was translated around that time. And we were called to pull in rituals of, like you mentioned, I pick Saturn, pick a planet that you don't really call upon often.
Right.
And work with this planet over and over again every week. And so I pick Saturn. Now, Saturn in my natal chart is very well placed. I have it in a grand trine, so it really helps me stay focused. I got that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't call him in often.
Right.
He's just always there. He's always there for all of us. So I need a little of his attention. So I'm like, okay, let's pull in Saturn. So on Saturday is Saturn's day. And Saturn's hour is the very first hour the sun is coming up on that day. that's the way with every day of the week. You know, sun is Sundays, Sunday is sun's day.
Makes sense, yeah.
First hour of when the sun's coming up is the sun hour. So Saturn hour is, I think this morning, because we're recording on Saturday, was like 7:22 a.m. for about an hour, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to do the ritual. And I'm going to read right now from Picatrix about how you would create this invoking planetary spirits. This is right from Picatrix explains that when you desire to speak with Saturn and pray to him, dress yourself in black garments. That is, all the clothing on your body should be black. And you should also wear a black cap of the sort that doctors wear. And you should wear black shoes. Then go to a place set aside for these workings, remote from other people, and appropriate to the humbler sort of people, walking with a humble mind. So this is just one explanation or one part of this part of the book about how you would get into this invoking, and you have to use specific summifications, which are incenses. And so I have put together in the south facing window, but it's facing east because Saturn will be rising there. He's underneath, you know, he's in the southern hemisphere. So he's directly below. Mm-hmm. But that's where he'll enter way after I'm done with that ritual in the morning. But I'm like, okay, I got to find black. Like, oh my gosh, I have one of those black long gowns that have all the Indian deities. You know, it's got Shiva and Brahma and Vishnu. Mm-hmm. All textured on this long like gown.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So I put that on, and I'm like, black cap that looks like something the doctors wear. I'm like, I don't have a black hat even. So, I'm going to skip that. So I go set up my little altar with black candle. I'm using the incense of Frankenstein. It's Halloween right now. Okay. Frankincense and myrrh, which is of Saturn qualities. I have a little ring put there that I put on that's made of iron. I have food like a ginger, like dark grapes.
And this sounds very similar to the Balinese traditions that we've seen on our retreats, is that they use the summification of the incense. They use the offerings as they even use cigarettes.
Yeah, tobacco.
Tobacco. They'll use candy.
They'll use coins.
Yeah, and also of nature. So they'll bring in flowers. They'll bring in, the money, the coin. Interesting. Okay, continue.
So I have to set up everything Saturn. And then but the first day I get there, I am like sitting in my chair and I'm like, what is this behind my back? And I turn around and it's a black jacket. I'm like, whose black jacket is this? Like, I usually keep my house pretty clean, but I had been gone for 6 weeks. So I turn around and it's one of your black sport, like coats, like sport coats. Oh, yeah. Like not that you wear suits, but
they're like a little blazer.
And I get the message, put it on. So I put it on over my head like it's like I'm a veil, like I'm a nun, very strict and stern. So I was like, okay, I'm getting this message. And I get from my Orphic Hymns book and I'm reading out loud the Orphic hymn to Saturn. And I'm doing some ceremony from the east, the west, the north, the south. And I call in Saturn to ask that he be here and keep me on the straight and narrow path of the things that I want to accomplish, and to keep me self-focused, self-controlled, disciplined, keep me within my limits that I want to adhere to. Give me the focus, give me that hard, long term like workload, right?
Yeah.
To know that I can get it accomplished. Okay, so then my hour's up. We move on to the next thing in the day. And I had a client that day. And I'm pre-doing her chart. And I'm like, oh my God, she's got, blah, blah, blah. Sitting her Saturn sits right on my sun.
Which is so interesting. Like,
so I'm
her
like,
discipline, her like.
I'm like, I'm going to have to pay attention to this client.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, as soon as we get on the phone, she goes, I'm going to be hard on you. And I'm like, I see that.
Right?
Like, I understand.
You called that in.
Right? So I called that in. And so just throughout this period of us together, it was like constant questions, constant this. It was like really interesting. And I really got the Saturn.
Challenging.
Yeah,
Which
I
that
really
is
got
totally
the
Saturn.
Yeah.
It's totally Saturn. But also like how cool too, because, if we look at things like this and we even think about the saying that God gives you not necessarily what you want, but what you need.
Mm-hmm.
This is
the answer to my
Saturn.
Prayer.
Right.
Like not even 6 hours later, I have the answer to my prayer.
Right.
So I recognize it right away. And I'm like, okay, this is what I can ask for.
Yes.
So let's move accordingly and let me stay within my boundaries and totally understand.
Right.
So it gave me a period to give boundaries. Okay. So then we move to the following Saturday. I do my Saturn ritual, Saturn day, Saturn hour, lighting my candles. At that point, I had hot black coffee. Because anything black, right? And bitter. And I call in Saturn the same way. And again, okay. So that evening, I'm playing a game with a bunch of us. I had some people over. And we're playing the game of apples to apples.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm holding the cards that says cosmic. So it's my turn and I throw down cosmic. And if you know the game, everybody that's holding cards has to pick what do you think Sandy would choose around cosmic. And if I pick your card, you get a point.
Right.
Right.
And you have cards like Marilyn Monroe or
you got everything.
Yeah, scissors, or I'm just looking around me to find some things. Lamp.
Yeah. Well, the point is, I pick up the pile of cards and I'm reading them, and there is Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
And I look up and I'm like, hello, Saturn. Here you are again. Again, not 7 hours later.
Right.
And you show up to me again. I hear you. I see you. Thank you for showing up. I recognize you.
So crazy.
And that person won, right? My card.
Oh, of course. Of course you're going to pick that.
So today I went ahead and did my Saturn hour, Saturn's day. And, we're only a couple hours away from my ritual, but I've taken on Saturn on a bigger scope.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I recognize Saturn coming into my world because I've asked him to, and he literally has been showing up in more ways than just those two that I mentioned, that I have taken on a 2-week cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm really not a big cleanser, faster, food eat. Like I do my intermittent fasting. I'm really good at that. Oh, true story. But to cleanse is way different. And I'm doing a 2-part. I'm doing a slow in and then a hard out. And that I'll need Saturn for. I will absolutely need Saturn.
That's tough.
During this period for me to do this plan that my naturopath suggested to me. And as soon as she did, I'm like, yeah, I can do this.
Here goes Saturn again. No
problem.
Yeah.
So here comes Saturn. So anyway, I just wanted to talk that out because you can call in any of the planets, which is what I do within my talismans.
Right.
I didn't make a talisman during these times, but I'm still making my prayer. I'm still, calling him in. I'm still invoking him with all of his color, his scent, his prayer, his homage, the humbleness that I'm preparing, into doing it at his time. So I welcome
which is
all
so
of you.
Interesting too, because when people attune to their talisman, this is also a summoning. This is like an asking for, I want this. Please give me the blessings, the opportunities, and the challenges, because they all kind of come together, that I can overcome to reach this goal of mine. So when you start asking and you start setting your intention, you also better be ready for making the decisions that you're committing to make.
They will respond. These planets, they're watching us. And I just find it really cool that, I just like, I'm not going to call Mars in. I really need Saturn right now. And everything is falling in line. But I have to do the work.
Right?
Saturn's not going to do it for me. He just shows me that he's here with me.
Right.
And, that then lends me into this, that I want to be adding on to things on my website, on our website.
Yep.
And they're from ancient techniques, this Picatrix, this Agrippa books, these, oh my gosh, another book's just been delivered.
Yes.
I just got a text.
We will need to filter, at least filter down into the really good, juicy bits, so that we can then share it with all of you where it all makes sense, because we can't just send you all the Agrippa, the Picatrix, the this, so you can understand it. So it's about really distilling, I guess.
Yeah. And there's going to be
word.
some new ways to call in these planets or lunar mansions or fixed stars going forward. And I've got some really great visions and ideas that are coming up. I haven't even told you about them, Alex, because we haven't had time, because we're not into the next future sense of what Intention Beads website's going to look like, but be excited.
I am. And I think that's all of your Saturn confrontations.
Well, I should see in the next 5 hours, Saturn showing up somewhere.
Of course.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for listening. We love all of you listeners. Thank you again. Of course, send me those feedbacks, send me those reviews. We like the 5-star ones, don't forget. And let us know if there's anything that we can help you with. Alex@intentionbeads.com. Share with your friends, and we will see you next week. Have a great astrological week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yes.
And the search ends here, where the